I'm attorney Mark Nicholson from the law office of Mark Nicholson, also known as the Battery Man for my work on battery cases, criminal battery cases. Now, I'm wearing the Spider-Man shirt today because my spider senses are going off. There's something a little bit strange, I think, in what happened today. Grace Jabbari, on her second day of testifying, did a lot of crying. She cried a little bit yesterday, but today it was like full on. And this is what she said. He cheated on me. He attacked me. Okay, well, if he cheated on her, why would he get in there and want to attack her? No. She apparently, from the testimony, was upset because she found out he cheated on her. And he's a Hollywood star. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. All she knows is there's someone that sends a text. He didn't have any control over who necessarily sent the text. All kinds of people can probably send him texts. But still, she grabbed his phone. Her story is the same, that he attacked her. Fractured her finger, slapped her hard across the face, and when she discovered his infidelity. She claimed that she was reaching out to him wanting closure. Well, if the dude cheated on you, what more closure do you want than that? It's over. She said, I wanted to make a clear determination in my mind that this was not a good relationship. That's what she's claiming about apparently why she wanted to chase after him. Sounds kind of odd. If he's cheating on you and he has attacked you, why are you chasing after him? Just to get a clear understanding of this a bad relationship or a good relationship. This seems kind of odd. Now, she said in her testimony, I don't ever want to see him again. But we're adults. We should talk this through. Well, if the dude's slapping you upside your head and breaking your fingers, I don't know how much more talking there is to do. This seems kind of odd. And I get having a high tolerance for pain. I don't have a high tolerance for pain. I don't. I admit that. But apparently she had so much tolerance for pain that when she wakes up, she sees blood and all this other kind of stuff like that. A broken finger that she had no clue that was there before. So on the Danny Does Law page, she has the video of Jabbari on the street talking to people, fixing her hair, doing things like that. So it's going to, I'm eager to find out how the jurors are going to perceive these videos because, you know, sometimes it's like poetry or a picture. You know, some person sees this, some person sees that, but it doesn't look like she's in any pain. It doesn't look like there's any broken fingers or any blood. So it's obviously a contrast from when she says that she was abused by Jonathan Majors to being on the street to then waking up a little bit later. Now, apparently, she fell asleep, but before she fell asleep, she locked the bedroom door. And she locked the bedroom door because she said she knew that the defendant was out there in order to feel safe. Now, let me tell you something about another reason why I have the spider sense going. In day one, she didn't cry as much as in day two, but also the use of the word defendant. That is something that the prosecutors say about our clients. They don't call him Mr. Majors. They'll say the defendant, to try to make them not a person. So when you hear a witness get on the witness stand in a case like this, where it's supposed to be her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, and she's using the word the defendant was outside the room, the defendant this, the defendant that, that's a sign that she's been coached by the prosecution. And they probably told her, tear up some. She's saying that she went in there in the bedroom and locked the door because she thought it was the safest place possible. I just wanted to say, help me, please. She apparently didn't report these past incidents because, you know, she knew Majors was not trusting the police as a black man, and I didn't want to put him in that position. So now she's really trying to play the race card, but trying to do it in a reverse situation, right? By saying, well, I'm a good person. I don't want to get a black man jammed up, so I'm going to take this abuse from this black man because I don't want him to get hurt by the police. Now another reason why I'm saying that my spider sense is kind of going off is because it just sounds a little odd that if he beat her, busted her head, broke her finger, that he's calling the police. And he stays there. This seems a little strange that that's the way that the events happen. Now, another thing is she claims that I loved him still. It was so confusing and I didn't want to get him in trouble. So that's why she claimed that she didn't tell law enforcement that. But then she did tell law enforcement that. So if you didn't want to get him in trouble and you didn't want to put him in this position, but you did. And you didn't recant. You didn't say that this wasn't happening. You're just making up excuses why you didn't say anything. So the question is for the defense under cross-examination, closing argument, are you lying now or are you lying then? Because if you're saying, oh, you didn't want to get him in trouble, well, if you didn't want to get him in trouble, maybe you don't want to get yourself in trouble by saying you're lying. She had tissues and the tears were just flowing. It was waterworks as she described this almost 2-year relationship. And another thing she said is she felt like it was her fault and she should have just lied to make it go away or so he wouldn't get in trouble. Well, if she's that easy to manipulate about telling the truth and lying and stuff like that, how do you know she's not lying now? Because she just felt like, I don't want to get him in trouble. Well, what about yourself? Self-preservation. I don't want to get myself in trouble. So I'm going to lie to keep myself out of trouble. And then she claims she's a very private person, that the abuse hasn't ended because now it's all being made public. Now, I don't know her, so she can be a very private person. But her boyfriend was a very public person because that's how he makes his money, being in the public. So I kind of feel like, if you're dating someone that's famous, then you know you're going to be in the media. And so there are images or pictures of her, in the media prior to this happening and, her and him together and things. So private could mean something else too. Private could mean, I like to keep my personal business in my personal life and then my public persona when I'm ready to go out on the runway with my boyfriend. I just think in her day 2 testimony, although it seemed to be kind of cleaned up as far as trying to make her sound more sympathetic to the jury, there's still like seeming some gaps in her story. Like you go to sleep in this room and you wake up and there's blood. It's like, did you fall? Did someone did the strangers that you were out with, did they give you a roofie so you can't remember? So I don't know. There's something is just off in this kind of bizarre case. And the fact that she basically is claiming that she is kind of like the savior of this black man because he doesn't trust the police and I don't want to get him jammed up with the police. So I'm trying not to say anything. It's kind of like a reverse where you would think the African Americans say, hey, I don't trust the police. That's why I don't want to call the police and I don't trust them. But yet he called the police. So it's interesting that she's claiming he doesn't trust the police, but yet he's the one that called the police. I don't know. It's really odd, and that's why my spider senses are going off. Now, one of the things that we were waiting for was the cross-examination of the witness, Jabbari. Yes, the cross-examination. How was she going to respond? So, cross-examination did begin this afternoon, Wednesday afternoon, and the defense attorney asked, basically, she asked about his upbringing, about their relationship, and how they met. Now, the defense also talked about and cross-examined her in regards to her testimony involving the audio recording, the secret audio recording. She tried to give some context by saying that Mr. Majors, what he's talking about is the witnesses drinking. She essentially had to admit that part of the problem was she was drinking too much. And he wanted her, Miss Jabbari, to stop drinking and do more with her life, to do better. It's like, stop all this drinking, carry yourself like some strong women, Coretta Scott King, Michelle Obama, which is also interesting that he mentions those two strong black women when the girlfriend of his is white. But that's okay because, you know, you're modeling yourself after someone that is a positive regardless of their ethnicity. But it sounds like, according to cross-examination, that the reason why he was saying that is because he wanted her to stop this drinking. And why is she recording it? It's almost like she's using all this to try to set him up for a later incident. Is your drinking a constant source of tension in the relationship? Jabbari's response is, well, he would get upset with me and use my drinking as an excuse. And I don't really see what's wrong with telling someone to, if you think that they're drinking too much, to stop drinking a lot. I used to drink. That was my drug of choice, was a drink, and I drank way too much. So nothing wrong with trying to tell her to improve herself. Obviously, I'm not supporting domestic battery, beating women or beating other people. And I understand that sometimes people that are abusers do have this kind of mystical control over the victims. And that could be the argument that the state would say, and that would be the argument that some people would say in defense of Jabbari, is that, well, she's saying these things and her story's not adding up because he has some kind of mystical control over her. Once again, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. Mainly, same thing I have when I'm trying cases. I'm not there. I don't know exactly what happened. I know what the people tell me. I know what the police reports say. I know what my clients say. And I look at the evidence and, then we end up trying the case the best we can. So here, I would like to know more as the case goes on to find out what these other witnesses are going to say. Are they really going to support her story, or are they going to support Mr. Major's story? And that's really going to be critical because it's going to be a battle of credibility of the witnesses. That's what this all really boils down to, because as far as we know, there's not really any pictures or video of him like beating her or her beating him. They do say there's this video of him putting her in the car, and then her crying on the witness stand. As a matter of fact, the one point during cross-examination, she was crying so much she had to leave. And I don't know how the jurors are taking this. Sometimes when the witnesses cry like that, it's like, hey, those are crocodile tears. They're fake tears. Or sometimes they can really, really get caught up in it. So you just never really know how the jurors kind of perceive those kind of emotions, depending on how they come out. So we'll see as this trial progresses to another day. So that's your Nicholson Nugget of the day. If you like it, please like and subscribe and tune in for more. And thank you all the people that have been viewing these videos.